Here we are. This could be the championship decider. The 5 lights are on, and they are out, and we are away. Looks like Jamham's had a good start. He's stuck into the wheel tracks of Nath, as could they potentially be going 4 wide here into the start. Ham has taken the lead. And Nathan Jam make a bit of contact behind him, but Jam's taken a great start. That was absolutely needed as V2X Combat. I'm not sure what's happened with him. He's dropped down to last position. Don't know whether he jumped the start, perhaps. But in the front, it is Ham Jam. He's taken a very, very crucial lead, it must be said. Absolutely needed that for the championship. SLR Rando seems to have lost out quite a bit. But Nath, Jam, and Crispy are closely following Ham. Bezos is a little bit further behind, but Zydrad is chasing him down. But at the moment, everyone seems to be within a second of each other. And I'm going to have a look at the detail of penalties, and no, it's just a 3-second penalty for V2. So he didn't jump the start and then come back. He's just made a bit of a mistake. Further back, Tommy Reels had a good start. He's all the way up into P11 already from the back of the field. On the back of SLR Southerner. He's sending it on the inside of the hairpin in the final sector. And he can't make it stick. I wonder whether Rando, who's lost out quite a bit, has potentially got damage here. No, he doesn't. That's good to see. As the traditional timing glitches are kind of setting themselves. But look at this ERS. I've just seen, look at the ERS of these top 2, I might add. So it just shows that there's the run into turn 1 and then the run into turn 4 here. Just how much ERS it expends. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, Nath already being on 30% ERS, and we've barely seen... We've barely gone past 2 laps here. That's just crazy, the depletion that these drivers are going to be facing. ERS management's going to be absolutely crucial here for these top guys in this inevitable DRS train for the whole race. Yes, absolutely. Nath is using his ERS quite a lot to try and stay in the DRS of Ham. Of course, Nath has nothing to lose. He is not fighting the championship here, but Ham and Jam are. And could that ERS usage maybe come back to bite him, or could his aggressive strategy perhaps pay off? Of course, you will use a lot when you get into the pits, and as it's a 2-stop race, you're going to be pitting a lot earlier than you would if it was just a traditional 1-stop. Oh, there's the yellow flag. The smoke's gone. Smoke has spun. I don't know whether he got spun by somebody or whether he's just spun himself, but Smoke's all the way down in P15. A disastrous start for him. It's a real shame as Mercs and Southern are battling it out through the middle sector. Here we go. Let's get this camera angle. Can Mercs hold it on the inside? He can. Southern backs out nicely. Decent bit of respect between these two, I feel. So good little battle from those two. Rando's closely behind, also on the medium tyre. As at the front, has Nate successfully managed to stay within the DRS? He has. So now he can use that DRS and he'll be able to recharge his battery a bit, but it doesn't look like he wants to at the moment. Looks like he wants to get as close to Ham and put him under as much pressure as he possibly can. Ham's still got half of his tank left, but yes, a very unusual strategy there from him, as UK Beats Assassin and Race Roller have just swapped positions. I've been told to check Tommy Reel's connection, so if you don't mind doing that, Maxwell, and then send him an invite to the party if it's looking not great. Yep, sounds good. As yes, look at this. I mean, Nath, obviously, he's hardly got any ERS left, but showing that that's not actually going to matter for him. He's stayed in the DRS of Ham, and he should be able to stay in it reasonably comfortably here, I think, and be able to recharge his battery. Ham being the leader could potentially be a bit of a disadvantage to him, maybe. And I just had a look, and Ghost Colt I thought was going to be out of the DRS. I thought Ghost Colt was going to be out of the DRS of the top 4, but he's gained an awful lot through the middle sector. So it looks like it's going to be a train of 7 at the moment as Beast has just become detached. Yep, go on, Max. Yep. This, you can tell already, this race is just going to come solely down to strategy. Ham, Jam, Nath, Crispy, all within the DRS of each other. Ghost Colt looks quicker through the middle sector, so I expect he will be able to stay within it himself. And then Bezos and Zydrad closely behind as well. It's kind of whoever jumps first in this whole train will be potentially the race leader when it comes to the pit stop phase. Could someone go for a really, really ballsy early pit stop? Maybe. Could work out for them. Yeah, it's... Oh, hang on. Nath has lost the DRS, and Jams is going to go past him now. Jam has taken P2. Nath. That ERS has mattered, and we'll just look at that from Crispy. It's almost going to be easy work on Nath. Maybe he'll have a go on the next straight, or maybe he'll have a go on the next lap, but Nath's ERS usage maybe has come back to bite him now in the next couple of laps. As Bezos is maybe thinking about a move on Ghost. Look at these guys, they're all so close to each other, as now Tommy is having a go on Race Roller. Having a look at his connection, like, it looks slightly jittery, but I personally think that is okay to race with. I'm not sure about you, I'm on board with Race Roller. I'm on board with Race Roller, and it's not like he's jumping all over the place, it's just slightly unstable. Hopefully it doesn't cause too many issues, but looks relatively okay for me. Yep, indeed, so have I. As I'm having a look, this is so fascinating because Ghost Colt gets absolutely left for dead on the straight from the top few guys, and yep, there we are. Zydrad is an early pitter. I was just saying that Ghost Colt gets left for dead on the main straight, but then closes back up so much as Jamham's taking the lead here. I completely missed that. But Jamham has decided to take the initiative, take the authority, and is now ahead of his brother. I completely missed that in the timing pages. I thought he would be too far back to make a move, but no, he's used a bit of momentum, and he wants to be the guy that's leading this race at the moment. Really interesting dynamic we have. And of course, with Zydrad and Race Roller pitting, going out in clean air, both of them, it's going to be really intriguing to see whether they can be a factor in this race and propel themselves upwards. Race Roller, I think, had damage as he's dropped way back from Zydrad, but Zydrad is certainly going to be a factor in this race with this early stop. Perhaps going aggressive, a soft medium perhaps strategy Zydrad could be going for, and trying to lead the race at some point. Will any of these guys react and come into the pits themselves? UK Beast Assassin will, but the top 6 stay out. Very fascinating period of this race, Max. Oh, can you untick and then tick?
Fingers
thanks for that, Dorsey. Hopefully it's all right. As UK Beast Assassin, how many seconds behind Zydrad has he come out? He's come out 2.7 seconds back, and he was 2 seconds off the train. So if Zydrad keeps up this pace, then I believe he will be filtering out right in the middle of this train, maybe.
Well, it's one thing as well.
Jam Ham has a lot of pace at the moment.
The undercut is quite powerful here. We noticed that yesterday. I think Hypers had a fantastic one yesterday. I managed to get one on Charlie as well, so it can be really, really powerful. It's going to be interesting, as you say, as much as they will be getting obviously the DRS and the toe along the straights, there is obviously going to be all that dirty air coming through the tricky sector as well, so it'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
Yes, it will. As will any of these guys pit? There we are, Ham Jam, the first of the leaders to pit. What about Crispy? Crispy pits as well.
And
so that
Bezos.
leaves Nath, Ghost, Jam staying out. That's the top three. Yeah, I'm going to go on board with Zydrad here because I think he is the one to look out for. Will Zydrad potentially jump these guys? Crispy's gone onto a set of soft tyres, so maybe he's going for the bit of track position at some point. But Zydrad's using a lot of his ERS, he's losing a lot of his battery here. And look how powerful his undercut is. He's got ahead of Crispy and Bezos. Picking those couple of laps later has meant that he has got right on the back of Ham Jam. He's going to be slower on his tyres, obviously, but if he can keep in the DRS of Ham, could be important for his race.
It makes you wonder if the likes
Ham has a lot of battery, though.
The likes
Ham
of
has an
Jam
awful
Ham
lot of battery.
and Nath or Nath, sorry, possibly in a bit of trouble here. I think Nath more so because the battery is completely depleted, so I think he could be sitting duck for a few places here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a fascinating phase. And let's see whether Ham has undercut Jam. Jam Ham's surely got to cover him this lap. And he does so. Will Nath hop into the pits? Yes, he will.
That
This is going to leave Ghost Cult to...
Yep.
He's got to stay out, yep. As Jam and Nath, what tyres will they go on? Nath has gone for a set of mediums. Jam, I expect to do the same.
Yep.
Yep. So let's get on board with Ham then. Was in P2. Has gone for the undercut. Has it worked for him?
Crispy could be looking to make the move here on Zydrad. That's looking good as well.
Yes, he has. But oh yes! Oh my God! Look at that! Zydrad's undercut Nath as well. They're going to go side by side into turn one, but Crispy is shot up into effective P3 here on his soft tyres. Crispy is going to be charging here, but Zydrad just picks up a penalty. And I like this from Crispy, actually. He wants to try and get as high up as he possibly can, as early as he can on those soft tyres. And then maybe come back towards the... And then maybe be dropping back towards the end of the race, but still have that track position.
Could be that way as well, Sam, but if he does get ahead of both Jam and Ham, there's that potential where he can manage the race from there. So he can kind of protect those tyres as much as possible to give him the best chance in that final stint.
Yes. As now I do expect Ghost Cult in, and he will be. As Nath picks up a penalty as well. A lot of these drivers in this top pack, as expected, are picking up penalties here. That is something we did expect. It is very, very difficult to avoid penalties here. As I'm on board with Ham Jam, and he's just coming up to his teammate, Paraquix.
I find it intriguing that Tommy and Nix have stayed out in the softs. I don't know if they're maybe thinking of trying a one-stopper, a very aggressive one, or just making sure they've got the best opportunity to go soft, medium, or soft, medium,
Well,
soft.
of course they started off on fresh tyres, so they'll be able to stretch the tyres out a bit longer. It'll give them a bit of opportunity later on in the race. The undercut's powerful here, yes, but also so's fresh tyres. So someone like Crispy, if these guys start... So someone like Ghost Cult, if these guys start battling, could propel himself really nicely up through this train. As these guys are now navigating their way through Paraquix. Ham first, then Jam second, then Crispy third. There's yellow flag in sector 2. That's... Smoke has had a little bit of a spin again. Oh, and his tyres are all so hot, and he's spinning, doing donuts basically. That is a real shame from him. He's
Mix pitting. Tommy stays out.
Yeah. Indeed. As Zydrad on Power, is Power using his ERS to defend? He is. Should still be a sitting duck to Zydrad though. Zydrad's got hardly any ERS here. As is on board with Ghost, and Beast isn't really fighting it. Fair enough.
Oh.
As Nathan Para. Oh, look at this. As Para's... Oh, a bit of contact with Nath. And that's allowing Bezza to try and sneak it up the inside as well. This is why Ghost Colt's overcut, I think, will work quite well, actually. Look at these guys. They're now in the trade behind Southerner as well. This is... Ghost Colt on the fresher tyres could be at a decent advantage here.
Because that's the thing, they're all at their peak performance, they're going to get held up, and that's going to allow him to just, nurse those tyres and get up there close to them. I was actually worried with that move.
Exactly.
I felt like there was a potential it could have spun Zydrad from the back, there was a potentially Nath losing a front wing. How they all get through that unscathed, I don't quite know.
As Southerner, he's not fighting it against Ham, he doesn't need to. Oh, Ham is a little bit of a squeeze. But Jam is going to go all the way around the outside on Southerner here. The room is given. Pretty respectful racing between the pair of them. Southerner gets a bit of damage, but... No, Southerner gets a penalty, sorry, not a bit of damage. He's okay on that front. And yeah, he's just a sitting duck here now for Crispy and... Inevitably for Zydrad at some point, as Nath is now getting past Zydrad. So that early stop did get him a decent bit of track position, but of course now he is still in that same train, and he's really struggling on his tyres. Well, it's 4 laps older tyres than Crispy, than Ghost Colt, sorry. That is mental, really. As Tommy Real has gone for a set of hards here, so he's trying the one stop, it looks like. Very interesting. He's battling out with Race Roller very hard here.
I'm interested to
and
see.
look at Merckx just behind them. They're going to go 3 wide here into turn 4.
Oh,
Merckx takes position, and Race Roller has gone. He spun. Yeah, 3 into 1. It's very, very tricky to make that work. And as you've seen, Race Roller has had a spin.
We're intrigued to see how Rando plays this out in front. Obviously, the guys behind him will reel him in probably in the next few laps, but the furthest guy ahead on that kind of strategy, whether he blinks and goes for the one stopper or decides to go for the 2. If he gets Southerner, must have got damage right enough because that's him pitting after 13 laps.
No, I don't think. I think that's just an early pit stop onto a set of softs for the 2 stop.
Yep, no change to it.
As Crispy's making a move on Jam here. So this is the time where Crispy needs to be quick on his tyres. He needs to be quick on his strategy. He needs to make these positions on Ham and Jam. As someone like Rando, I mean, the optimal strategy from outside the top 10 here is a 2-stop. But I wonder whether Rando will maybe consider on the fly switching to a 1-stop, get that track position at some point. He is only a couple of seconds ahead of this train and will be a sitting duck towards the end of the race. But if he can get decent track position at some point, then it could be reasonably valuable for him.
Especially as
leading
such
the race, though,
big train as well.
As Beast picks up a penalty. The likes of Ghost, the likes of Bezos, the likes of Jam, the likes of Ham. Running very, very well. With no penalties. So difficult to do here. As Rando does finally go into the pits. What tyres is he going to go for? He's going for a set of softs, so he is doing the 2-stop.
I worry
I do
for
expect him
Dave
to
here.
maybe consider.
Absolutely no battery whatsoever. I really worry for him trying to keep up with this train. I think might see the front 3 venture off to the distance and maybe seem under a bit of pressure. Zydrad possibly might go for it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, Zydrad's not got too much himself, but a lot more than Nath does.
I wonder if you're Ghost there, if you just kind of sit, don't use any battery whatsoever, just charge it up and then, accept, maybe you're going to lose a bit of time behind these guys, but attack when the time's right.
I think you try and make the moves as early as possible. I think his fresh tyres, they're only going to be significantly better off for a limited amount of time. And so he's got to use them to good effect. It will allow him to go longer, of course, but But Nath has managed to stay in the DRS, so it's fair enough. And your fears for him were not entirely true, I guess. He's managing to hold on for now, but of course he is one of the drivers who has at least one penalty. Looks like Crispy is beginning to have a bit of issues in the tyres and his softs. He's not been able to make it past Ham, but he will be able to have the undercut on him though, so Crispy at some point will be leading this race, but of course there's someone who has a penalty, as Ghost picks up a penalty now. So it's just Ham, Jam and Bezzers who have...
We're just doing a bit of monitoring on how they use the battery on the lap, so it seems like Jam, obviously sitting in third, is quite really hesitant to use it. Maybe used a little bit at the start of the big long straight, the home straight, but Nath is literally any chance there is, any opportunity there is for a straight and a rich mix or whatever, he is straight on that, so he's going to have a very depleted battery for the majority of the race, and we'll see him at 0 for a lot. I just wonder when it gets to the near the end whether that might hamper him.
Yep. Someone we've not gone on board with too many times here that I'm going on board with now is Rando. He is on a fresh set of softs. He is going for quite an aggressive alternate strategy. Lost a bit of time at the beginning of the race, which has compromised the strategy a bit, but he's going to be absolutely flying in this portion of the race. Should make a relatively easy move on Tommy. I think Tommy flapped his DRS button open a couple of times to let Rando know, yeah, you can come straight past, mate. That's Jam and Crispy. What's happened there? Jam's going to try to move on Crispy. Crispy's tyres are now beginning to die a bit. Jam Ham has taken the position, moves up into P2. As Merckx just got past Paraquex for P9. I do wonder how Tommy's going to come into play near the end of the race, because Tommy could potentially be a bit of a roadblock for certain people. He is on those hards going for a one-stop, so... As Para is not made a stop yet from his hards. Rando's going around the outside of him. And it's an easy move. Para might be able to fight back with DRS, but I think Rando's got too much of a gap to him.
More goes for potential move here.
Oh, he makes contact with Bezzers and he's had a little bit of a spin, but saved it. Shouldn't compromise his race too much, but yeah. As Para's got past Rando here. Better past Rando. As there's a safety car, as Race Roller has crashed. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. How is this going to affect things? Safety car has been deployed.
Right at the
surely all these top guys have got to go onto the mediums here. Surely they've all got to go onto mediums here. And try and make it to the end of the race.
Yep, that car is way over to the right hand side.
Yeah, I have no clue how this is going to play out. I mean, what do you do if you're these guys? This is nowhere near your pit window. Do some of them not even have a second set of mediums? Have some of them gone for a softer tyre allocation? And those mediums, 18 laps, is a decent bit of a stretch for them. Ham and Jam are coming in. Crispy's got to, really. It's pretty much optimal for him anyway. Nath is coming in, as is Zydrad. Bezzers is staying out, as is Ghost. Beast is coming in as well, so...
I think
Zydrad
Ghost
is putting on a set
never
of
really
hards,
had an
as is
option
Nath. Oh yeah, Ghost would have had the double stack, of course.
Same with Rando, he's kind of in the lurch there. We're making up a few positions, at least just now.
We say that, he's got himself into P4. Although I don't know whether he passed Jam before or after the pit lane.
I just let him by there.
Pit line, yeah, he's just let him by. I thought he might have. Nathan's side have gone hards, Crispy and Beast have gone mediums, Ham and Jam have gone mediums. Bezzers and Ghost will have to pit again. But they'll probably be going for a set of softs near the end of the race. As yeah, this is... It's kind of forced people's hands onto pretty much on the exact same strategy as each other. As wow, Crispy lost out big time on his pit stop. I wonder whether he had damage or not. Because he's dropped from being right behind Jam Ham to... Well, being all the way down in P9 and behind Zydrad.
What might have cost them, I'd need to double check on it. I think V2 pitted a lap before, so obviously sometimes your mechanics can take a bit of time, even if the
possibly
fast driver has left the pits, so that could have possibly caused a wee delay there. And of course, with that many cars entering and leaving the pit lane, it did leave that opportunity for...
As Rando himself has decided to pit for fresh set of mediums. Guess he saw a reasonable opportunity, he thought may as well. Bit late, but he is going to have a fresh set of tyres and will be able to be fully caught up to this queue rather than having to pit again at some point. Of course, this is really unfortunate for his strategy, it must be said, because he was hoping to be quick on softs at the end, a safety car about 10 laps later or so, and he'd be in a decent position.
Well, good thing
Bezos and
is...
Ghost Cult, they're going to be two guys kind of the cork in the bottle, you might say, in this race.
What I was going to say
They
with
have
Randall
not made
was
their next stop.
he'd have that kind of familiarity with the medium tyres already, so whether some would maybe be taking a couple of laps to kind of get used to them, he already knows how he can kind of push them, obviously, albeit in a heavier fuel load.
That is true, that is a good point. But what Bezos and Ghost Cult need here is perhaps another safety car. Help them out reasonably, I think. Because then they'll be able to pit for a set of softs and be absolutely flying near the end of the race. Now they're going to be sitting ducks with pretty much everyone behind them. Might have a cheeky look at the penalties at the moment. Yeah, most people got either 3 or 6 seconds of penalties on the field.
And obviously what we get is a massive refresh of the race, not only everybody mostly on the same lifespan of tyres, but we're obviously talking about battery management. Everyone's back up at 100%, so that's going to mean people at NAF who's maybe struggling a little bit get that chance to just get back onto a level footing with the guys round about them.
As I've just had a little bit of message, apparently Tommy's lagging bad again, but I mean, like, it looks completely fine on stream, so
I'll jump on
that's one of those things. That's one of those things where if it's looking completely fine for us, it's just a shame we can't really do anything if it does affect other drivers. Of course, this game does run on peer-to-peer connection, so my connection to someone might look fine, but someone else's connection might look bad to them. It's just how this game's servers work, and yeah, a bit of an annoyance to some people, but
just to confirm as well, from a Qualcomm perspective, there's no red bar or anything with them. I didn't even see really the jittering for before either. So just to clarify the stance we see for Qualcomm as well.
Yeah. Yeah, obviously we only want to bring someone out of the race when it's clear that their connection is bad for us, because well, anyone can make anything up obviously with connection. You could be in P2, the guy could be in P1, and you could say this guy's lagging all over the place just to get the victory. But I'm really intrigued that Bezos didn't pit himself, because maybe he didn't have a set of mediums, but he wouldn't have double stacked or anything. But yeah, the safety car's in this lap, and the safety car restarts here are bloody weird, it must be said. Oh, as Bezos nearly has a spin. Ghost Skull's trying to pass him, but he can't do before the pit line. That's going to allow Jam and Ham to try and get through. Is Jam going to be boxed in a bit here, perhaps? Ham's going to have all the freedom of the inside. It's going to be absolutely chaos. Ham's going to try and send it up the inside, but he can't. Bezzers and Ghost keep position as Ghost is trying all the way around the outside.
3 wide behind.
Ham and Jam.
Oh, and Zydrad's been taking it.
Oh, no! Zydrad and Nathan Tommy have made contact and they've all just gone a bit, really. As Ham Jam's been taken by both Jam and Bezzers as well. But Ghost Colt is leading the race at the moment. This is absolute...
Big gainers as well. There's was Beast Assassin and Mercs. Mercs just was in a really good position. Yep, to get through that. They just snuck
through. Yep, I noticed that. And Beast is technically in a net podium position here because Ghost and Bezzers have to pit again, and it's only Ham and Jam ahead of him. So Beast is in a really good here so far.
Tommy up the inside the Crispy.
Crispy making a move. Oh, Crispy's got damage. Oh, that is gutting.
And Zydrad.
That's so unlucky. Yeah, Crispy and Zydrad both have damage, it looks like. Zydrad's retired in the pits, I don't blame him, to be honest, and Crispy's probably going to do similar. Just really unfortunate, it must be said. As Bezzers has just picked up a penalty ahead of the Beast. Beast here's got to get the position and got to get the gap over Mercs and Nath before their hard tyres start to kick in, I think. As V2 and Southern are battling it out. V2's gone quite deep. Could Southerner maybe try to switch back? Oh, not quite. As Rando's in a pretty tidy position here, I must say. He's got no penalties. He won't have to pit again.
Fresher tyres, maybe just a lap, but as you say, a good position for him to be in, and you've jinxed him.
Oh my god, I've jinxed him. I've completely jinxed him. Sorry, Rando, if you watch the stream back. As Ghost looks rough. I'm surprised that Ham and Jam haven't swamped Ghost yet, because Ghost has got pretty tidy pace at the moment. He does have to pit again, obviously, but he's holding his own on his older tyres. Fair play. He did look very quick, just not on the straights, and might be showing his tyre wear or something, perhaps, as Nate is trying to move on the inside of Mercs. And he makes it stick. Moves up into P6. He's had a really turbulent race, and he's already rinsed about half his battery. That is... This is yellow flag in sector 3. Crispy has spun it, and yeah, he's way down. But now the only two drivers not to have penalties are Ham and Jam. Are we surprised? No.
Are you going to jinx him as well, Sam? Is that what's going to happen here?
They're Ham and Jam. Of course we won't jinx them. They probably don't even have a single warning yet. As I just seen, as Owen is cheering on his cousin, UK Beast Assassin, he could legitimately get a podium here. I'm like, nice jinx again, but I mean, he's in a really good position.
Just looking here, Jam's got a lot of battery. Yep.
Yeah, he's not going for the move on Ghost yet. But he's got a lot of overspeed though. Ghost has run out of his battery here, and he's not even going to have to use any to maybe try and move. Yellow flag somewhere. I'm not sure what's happened. Bit of a... Oh, it's Smoke. Smoke's had a bit of a spin. But now Ham and Jam are perhaps going to battle. Jam couldn't make the move on Ghost. He goes defensive. Oh, and Ham can't make the position. If you're Ghost, you probably have to pit in the next couple of laps, I think. You've got a fresh set of softs, and then as Crispy is sped into the pits, and I believe that will be Crispy retiring. Yep. But if you're Ghost, then you've got to pit relatively soon, and as soon as he pits, that frees up Ham and Jam. And they are going to be fighting to the end, I am sure. And there we are, Ghost is peeling off into the pits. and race on for the race lead. Here we are. It's been a bit of a bizarre one, but one thing we do have is a battle for P1. So hold on tight, folks. Something could happen between these two. Neither of them are trying a move yet. What about Beast on Bezzers? Nath picks up another penalty, but Beastie's not making the move on Bezzers yet. As Nath is now right up his chuff. Can't do anything as of yet in this train. But hang on, Nath is going to try and sneak it up the inside here. Oh, he's got so much more traction than Beast. They could be going side by side through the S's here. Is Nath going to try and hold it? He is!
Oh, bit of bump in the way by.
What a move!
Well
what
played.
a fantastic move from Nath, that is. As he moves his way up into P4. Beast perhaps maybe has a bit of an older set of mediums, perhaps. Compared to Nath. Might not have a fresh set. That was still a fantastic move by Nath on those hards. There's Jam and Ham here. No, they're not ready. I feel like here with how powerful the DRS is. Oh, here we go. They're going side by side, Jam and Ham. Ham thinks about it. Can't make the move stick. As looking below, V2X Combat, SLR Rando. Oh, Rando makes a bit of contact with V2. He tries to keep it up his inside. Oh, and he's been spun. Oh, as he's driven full speed into the wall.
And a full-blown safety car.
Safety car. And I've called a safety car. Well.
This could possibly
what happened, but yeah. What do these guys do? Do these guys pit for another set of tyres? They might have to. Ghost is probably really annoyed that the safety car came out because he pitted like 1 or 2 laps before it, but
well, not necessarily, because if Nath ends up pitting, then it would have compromised Ghost again, so it might help him a little bit. Be interesting to see, obviously, what decisions people make.
No, because Ghost had the track position, didn't he? He was in the lead.
Oh well, yes, very true. See.
But what are Jam and Ham going to do? Jam is pitting, so's Ham. Is Nath going to stay out? He is. Is Beast going to pit? He is. Wow. Complete mix of strategies, this is. Well, I say a complete mix, it's just Nath that hasn't pitted. But yeah, suddenly I do expect Ghost to shoot up massively. Could Ghost potentially be in provisional P2 here? No, not quite. He's just behind Ham and Jam. But they of course don't have any penalties. Another twist to the tail. That safety car that Rando caused. Nath, I think, has had a bit of a mare here in staying out. Probably didn't anticipate the rest of the field just all following suit and just going into the pits. But he is going to be an absolute sitting duck on those old hards. As Tobin said, looks like everyone's just mugged Nath off. Yeah, you can put it that way. He's the only driver who stayed out. And is currently leading the race on old hards. Guys behind are going to be so much quicker, but wow. Talk about contrasting fortunes. Ghost Colt has just... Yeah, Ghost Colt being handed an absolute lifeline, currently sitting in P4. Could be on for a podium here.
Just intrigued to see what Nath does round here if he just decides, well, I go for it. Just stay in the hard
Smoke has said that Tommy's lagging bad again, yeah. We've checked it a few times on stream now, and sadly for us, we can't see any connection issues for him. It's like multiple drivers appear to have reported it, but at the moment we can't see anything ourselves, so obviously we're unable to do anything with that one, I'm afraid.
Just to confirm again, on board with Paraquix and P10, the place behind Tommy, I don't see anything that I wouldn't see as not ordinary for the driver ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. Smoke says it's horrific. Yeah, it's It is a shame we can't see it, but I mean, you saw the evidence on stream, mate, and yeah, we can't do anything. I'm afraid. Like, that's it's just down to the comms guys just to have a look. But yeah, Smoke is back in this race though. He's currently sitting P12. So many people have retired. Well, 4 people I say have retired, but yeah. But yeah, Nath staying out. I've decided he's doing it for the content. He wants a hectic safety car restart of loads of people swamping him on soft compound tyres. So that's what's going to happen.
Well, if ever wanted an opportunity to rinse his battery, like he's been doing most of the race, this is it.
Yeah,
to try and keep
maybe
everyone
he's
at bay.
anticipated 2 safety cars because he's able to just keep his battery relatively high with those safety car periods, and even though he's rinsing it a lot. It's still alright. But he's now preparing for the restart. And here, yep, that's the throttle glitch. He decided to go now in the penultimate corner. And the game's not letting him. Oh, has he nearly lost it? That's going to be an easy move for Jam. It's further back, Mercs and Beast having a go. Mercs around the outside, maybe? Yeah, he breaks super late. Does he put it off? They're still going side by side. They're giving each other the room. Mercs has to go out wide. Could that potentially compromise him and allow Bezos to have a go? Great fighting here for P5. Bezos cannot make the move. The further ahead, Jam has got the position. Had got the position on Nath.
Must be said,
And
it
that's
must
going to
have
mean
been
that Ham Jam.
a great launch from Jam because Ham was nowhere near behind. So I think it was just a great start for Jam. Adding in the
I think it was.
mistake for
Nath obviously making that mistake, but now Ham's going to have to work very hard to get back in the DRS of his brother. Could potentially be the race here decided just by Nath. Ham could not capitalise, and there we are. The gap's 2 seconds already. What a fastest lap that is from Jam as well. But now Ham, Nathan's going to be a sitting duck here. As I said. This is the kind of thing that Ghost Cult needs as well. If you can get past Nath quickly, then Ghost could find himself being able to put a bit of a gap to the likes of Beast below him.
a bit aggressive battling there between Bezos and Mercs, but that gets Bezos up to P6.
And V2's trying to sneak in there as well. Can he try it? Oh, Tommy's having a go as well. But no, nothing doing. As Nath, look how much he's struggling through this S section. He's got another penalty, and this is going to be an easy move for Ghost. Surely he's going to have so much more grip. He's trying it up the inside. Nath's giving him the room.
Oh,
As Ghost darts to the inside. Nath is trying to hold it in there, but Ghost takes a position. Very aggressive move. Very nice. Very ballsy move indeed. As now UK Beast Assassin is the next one to try and pass Nath. The gap between Jam and Ham, yeah, stabilising at just over 2 seconds. I think that's probably it done for Jam, I reckon. Unless, of course, Jam gets a penalty. But Beast, if he wants any chance at a podium here, needs to make the move on Nath as quickly as he can. Nathan's still trying to get back past Ghost Colt, though, so he's not letting these old cars distract him and deter him from his goal. As further back is V2 going to try and make a move on Mercs, and no, he can't make it stick.
So let's see if there's any other battles. This is basically everybody fallen formation, but you can just see the gaps that are getting made by just by Nath there. If Beast can get by him and just put that car between them, he's looking at a very solid result here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is all going to be decided on who has how many penalties, I think, as well, because these guys are quite close. Nath has well and truly lost the DRS on Ghost. So it's now Beast, and maybe Bezzers behind him trying to move. Bezzers has got so much overspeed here. Could he maybe try and move on Beast on the inside of turn 1? No, he's not close enough. But Nath fights back, though. And nearly keeps the position. So now it's Merckx trying to get past him. Nath doesn't have the DRS. Oh, as he swerves over to the right-hand side to try and block the position. But Merckx is unfazed by that. Nath goes very deep.
Oh.
Allows Merckx to keep the position as Nath is just... I think he's had a spin here. He's gone completely off the track and... Yeah, he's dropped to P12 and that is potentially Nath out of the race. Out of contention. As V2X Combat and Tommy battling it out. V2X Combat does a nice move up the inside of Tommy. Look at these two scrapping. Look at these two scrapping. Oh,
bit of
Tommy
contact.
makes a bit of contact. But no doing.
I'm intrigued here
What
that
about Bezzers and Beast?
He doesn't have the
Yeah,
battery.
he spotted it at the same time as me. Neither's Beast. They're both absolutely running on fumes here. Bezzers has taken the position, but it's all be about the final couple of laps. Absolute mental roller coaster race, you've got to say, from Bezzers. Roller coaster race from Ghost Cult as well. He does look good at the moment for a podium. But of course, this is all about how many penalties these guys have. We're pretty certain on Jam and Ham's results, but it's just the guys behind them. There's just 2 laps remaining. And SLR Southerner. Could he perhaps get another points finish? He's running in P10 at the moment.
It's possible he's right in this battle with Paraquix and Tommy.
Yeah, this battle's hotting up, and Southerners manages the ERS quite well. Looking quite racy at the moment.
I can just see there, good bits of the field there are starting to get out with that DRS range. I think V2 Combat might be the one that's locked in. Quite a few ahead, now just kind of just over that 1 second
Now
fish.
Power trying to move on Tommy. Yeah, it's an easy move there from Power. Tommy is very, very empty on his ERS. I can Southerner maybe get him into turn 3 here. He's using a lot of his battery. Is he going to have a go? The Division 1 champ down the inside. They make contact. And Southerner takes the position. Tommy runs completely off track. Because there was a bit of contact. There was a bit of wheel banging between them. But Southerner takes the position. As now every single driver is out of each other's DRS, with the exception of V2 and Merckx, which is just about within the DRS.
I think as well that Jam's just had Ham's number there, the gap's up a wee bit there now, just nearly 3.4 seconds. So.
Yeah, Jam's now even out of a potential penalty range as well. I think they're both just bringing it home here. Don't want to risk anything. Smoke and Tommy are now fighting. Tommy's lost the position to Smoke as well. Wonder whether he has damage of some kind. Yes, he does. He's lost an end plate. And that's why Smoke needs to keep on fighting, keep on battling, because he's now in the points.
It's maybe just one lap too late as well, but Bezos is in the DRS the Ghost, but obviously, is there really any overtaking spots to go for the end of the race?
I think this is probably that, if I'm being honest, in terms of moves. Might go on board with V2 for a little bit as he could maybe try and move Mercs into the final sector. Oh, he runs out wide and gets a penalty for it though. Is he going to send it on the inside? No, he's not. So we go on board with Jamham. One step closer to the title. He takes the victory. What a chaotic race. He is driven flawlessly, it must be said. Takes the victory. Ham in second. Ghost Cult third. Does he keep it on penalties? He does! For his first podium of the season. Bezos, very consistent. Picks up another solid result in P4. Mercs, a fantastic drive in P5. With Paraquix in P6, I'd be happy with that. He'd be happy with that, Para. UK Beast Assassin gets quite a few penalties and comes on in P7 with SLR Southerner, his best ever elite result in P8. P9, I think, was V2X Combat. And then P10... I don't know. I think it was Smoke, maybe. Sorry, I genuinely just don't know who finished P10. I completely missed it.
I think it was Smoke.
It was Smoke.
I remember as well, everyone in the chat, wasn't your driver of the day as well?
But yes, Jam and Ham are your 1-2 again. And can we please get the votes in? Yes, so the top 10. Jam, Ham, Ghost, Bezos, Mercs, Para, Beast, Southerner, V2, and Smoke. With Tommy and Nath being the two finishers who did not get points. And then Rando, Crispy, Zydrad, and Race Roller, your retirees.
I'll just say a massive, as you mentioned before, a massive props to Paraquix for that result. That first stint looked like it was really, really horrible for him. But the fact is,
yeah, of course, he was going for that one stop on the hards. But then those two safety cars, he picked the right strategy, even though he was in the Renault garage and would have got held up by Ham as well. Getting only 3 seconds of pens compared to others around him, who got 9 and even 15, a couple of people. Paraquix comes home for P6. Great drive from him. So now just getting the 3 guys in the party. Just got Jam in first. Now Ham. And then hopefully Ghost. So can you please all tick your boxes, please? And we'll start off with the interviews. How do you want to do this?
No, whatever. I don't mind.
I guess I can take P3 and P1 and you can take P2?
Yeah, no problem at all.
Okay, so we'll start off with Ghost Cult in P3. Well, I get the sense that this podium was overdue, your first podium of the season. And, well, it was a far from simple race, but you've managed to convert promising pace throughout the entire season into a podium. First of all, congratulations. Second of all, how do you feel with that result?
About time. Simple, really. A long, long wait. Last podium, I think, was Hungary last season. Something ridiculous like that. But, yeah, great. Simple. Amazing. Every sort of good word you can think of. I don't even know. But just great.
Yes. Yeah, so talk us through your race, mate.
God,
it was kind of... it was a really odd one. It looked like you were maybe even out of it, but then that last safety car and suddenly you're up in P3.
Thank you, Rango, for that crash. That saved me. That helped. That really helped to get the podium. The first safety. I'm trying to think what actually happened during the start, like through how the race went, because so much happened. Got a really bad start. I'm surprised I maintained 5th by the end of the first lap, to be honest, because it was a really bad start. But hey, I stayed in 5th, so that's all right. Then it was pretty much just a train up until the first pit stop. Will came in. I had to come in a lap later because Nate, I think he might be a reserve driver. he pitted the lap I wanted to pit on lap 9, so I had to go around again. I lost a lot of time because of that and dropped behind the group and was quite a way back, about 3 seconds. So, yeah, it was sort of just lonely set until the safety car came out. And I thought, I'm going to stay with this, I'm going to save the mediums. And then, and I got a brilliant restart, got past the racing point into first, and I was quite surprised at my pace as well on that restart. And came in for the soft. I thought if I could get, quite a lot of people have a lot of penalties, a lot more penalties than I did ahead of me, so I thought I could get a decent result here, and then safety car came out, made it well off the restart, and yeah, P3. Brilliant.
First podium of the season. Very happy. And yes, me and Maxwell, of course, McLaren guys, very happy that you finally broken your duck this season.
About time.
Podium.
Yes.
Now on to Maxwell for P2, which was Ham Jam.
No problem. Obviously, I did catch glimpses of qualifying. How did you feel that went for you? I can't remember off the top of my head how it finished up, but how did you feel your laps were in that?
Pretty awful. I knew my pace was pretty decent, but it just basically every lap I did, one of the sectors was really rubbish. I mean, I was pretty happy in that regard to take P2 because I was like a good sort of 2/10 off what I should be doing in the first sector, which would have been a pretty good lap then. But yeah, I mean, I was happy with P2 because, well, I mean, P2's probably better than P1 round here, so it actually worked out pretty nice in quality.
Not a problem. And then the race itself, finishing in P2 as well. How do you feel the race went from your perspective? We'll talk about, obviously, I think the situation that kind of won and lost the race, but overall, how do you feel it went? Was it an enjoyable race for yourself? Was it a case of just making sure strategy was on point? And how much of a curveball was that safety car as well at the end?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was a pretty enjoyable race. It was pretty comfortable, it has to be said, sort of just going through the paces, you know, just setting consistent laps, avoiding warnings. I mean, I got one at the end, but that was just me being a bit silly and getting a bit frustrated. Yeah, pretty much just like you say, managing the fuel, managing the battery. I mean, my pace was decent. I think the right person won, to be honest. I think James was a bit faster than me. But obviously, like you say, it was a shame with that safety car at the end to effectively have no chance then of at least being able to fight for the lead. But I'm not sure how well I would have managed anyway, because I made a bit of a mistake in quali. I did a couple of laps in Q2 when I really didn't need to. Ended up then at the end going on to tyres that were like 2 laps more worn than James's. So obviously that paired with the fact that he pulled over a second and put a car in between us straight off the restart meant that I had no chance at that point. But like I say, I think the right person won anyway, and to be honest, James has been like that the whole season. To be honest, I've made too many mistakes and had too many incidents, whether they've been my fault or not, to I think deserve the title. So I mean, I know it's not completely over yet, but obviously it's looking very good for James now. But yeah, I mean, I'm pleased with what I've done. I'm pretty sure I've been the top scorer since the halfway point in the season. I maybe got a bit lucky last season at the start with the first sort of 10-11 races, because they're not normally my best tracks. So to have as good a start a season last time out, and then I think I've probably had a bit underperformed at the start of the season this time around. So maybe next season I can find a sort of balance there, and I know my better tracks are at the latter part of the season, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, yeah, I know the championship ain't over, but it all but is. But yeah, I mean, well done to James, obviously, on the win, and Ghost Car as well, returning to the podium. Definitely deserves that one. He's been close a few times this season, so yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Basically covered everything there I was going to mention about, obviously, the move at the end that kind of Jam getting ahead of Nayfair, and obviously putting that car in between just obviously was the kind of the killer race. But I completely agree as well.
Yeah.
I would say from the middle part of the season, and especially including the F2 stuff, I would say you are pretty much one of the informed drivers. Certainly, I've noticed that. I've said that a lot of times in the F2 streams as well. So keep it up, and as I say, hopefully you can enjoy the last couple of races that end the season.
Cheers, guys.
And now on to your race winner. Well, last season, Ham won this race to clinch the title. This season, it's pretty much roles reversed. Of course, the title is not mathematically sealed yet, but it's pretty much as good as done. I think you need something like 5 or 6 points from the last couple of races to seal the deal in Brazil and Abu Dhabi. So first of all, congratulations on the victory. And second of all, well, how do you feel your race went? Of course, perhaps building up to potentially be a bit of a slog out between you and Ham, but in the end, that safety car kind of made it a formality for you. How was the race though?
Yeah, thanks, mate. First of all, just want to say one to Ghost and Harry as well. I mean, I think I've ruined Ghost's chance of a podium in Hungary, so it's good that he got one this season. But no, I'm really happy with that. I obviously knew coming into it that a win would all but guarantee it. So yeah, a really big result. A little disappointed that I didn't get a battle with Harry that I think we were both kind of expecting. I think we always looked a bit quicker than the guys behind, and it did look like we were going to have a bit of a fight before that second safety car. But yeah, obviously really good to get the win. I think in that last stint, just controlling it once I'd made the move on Nath, and then yeah, looking after the battery and the tyres. No warnings the whole race as well was really nice. So yeah, just a controlled drive on the whole. I mean, I would have been happy coming round and finishing second to Harry. That still would have put me in good stead for the last 2 races. But yeah, obviously now I think it's 46 points with 2 races to go. So I think that yeah, the pressure's well and truly off my shoulders now, I think, with this result.
Yes, well, first of all, just do you feel like there was anything else that you could have done perhaps differently in qualifying? Of course, you didn't quite get the lap hooked up either. It looked like both of you were struggling in qualifying a bit to get the lap together.
Yeah, that was a little disappointing. I've been doing like 12.7s, 12.8s earlier today, and then yeah, just couldn't hook up the lap and then crashed at the end, which was a bit silly. Just lost the car through the S's trying to push for the time. But I mean,
team did a good rebuild job for the race though.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I knew my race pace would be good, and I liked the strategy that I was going for. And then once I saw that after about lap 2, Nath had his red light flashing, so he literally had no battery. I knew I'd be all right then, just getting past him, and then I wasn't worried about being able to stick with Harry, to be honest, because obviously the DRS is so powerful around here. Yeah, qualifying a little disappointing, but starting third wasn't the end of the world.
Yeah, and of course you picked up you and Harry, the only 2 drivers to pick up no penalties as well this race. Just were you ever fearful of a penalty in the race, or did you feel like you just had the car on rails through the entire thing basically?
No, the car felt glued to the track. It through the S's and everything, and never really got close. Like I say, no warnings at all. So yeah, I felt like I was always in control of it. Obviously, it's easy to do around here. So I mean, yeah, I mean all the other drivers got penalties, but to be honest, that's nothing unusual at all. But yeah, I think just maybe taking my foot off the gas a little bit, driving at 95% rather than 100% and pushing for it maybe helped me out a bit.
But yes, great drive from yourself, and yes, pretty likely to wrap it up in Brazil.
Thank you.
But yes, now that is that. Great drive from our podium finisher. As I drop my controller. Oops.
Wonder what happened there.
Yep. Anyway, that's all for us, and thank you for watching. See you in Brazil next week.